Alright, YouTube. I want to start off with how to start developing in Java. That's going to be my native language. It's my best programming language, I guess you could say. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so I would start off by going to a programming development kit, and it's called Eclipse.org. You can go there and download it. It's very useful. Yeah, it'll help. It'll help you a lot. Alright, so when you open it up, it'll look something like this. We're going to create a new project and just name it whatever. Alright, so while that's loading, alright, I'm going to be creating like alright, yeah, anyways, okay, I'm going to be creating some files to show you like basics of Java. Now, the first basic thing would be the specified name of the class file must be the same exact name as what you saved it as. I'll show you in a second what that means. Okay, so I named my file test, and it comes up as test.java, but you must initiate the class file as public class test. Alright, now we have our file, but it's not going to do anything. We're going to start this off by doing a public static void main string. Doesn't really matter right there. Alright, so this is what we call our main class, and this is what the entire program runs through. So whatever's in this block of code right here, that's everything that's going to run through. Alright, so the first basic thing that you learn in Java would be a simple print statement. So we'll call that system.out.println. Alright, and then we'll say alright, can't really hit run. For me, I gotta go over here. Alright, and there it comes out in terminal for me, but if you guys command prompt, whatever you guys run. Okay, so we got a basic print statement. Now we can manipulate it into a few things. First thing I want to explain is the print. This is print line statement. It will print each and every line. So if I were to type again, hey YouTube, and then hit run, now I'll get two of them to pop up. However, I could just do, instead of print ln, I can do print, and then when I do it again, another print, watch what will happen. It'll print it all onto one line. So the print starts from the last statement that you were at. Alright, so I'm also going to show you some functions within the print statements that you can use. There's /n, so you can do a YouTube. Okay, so we have a YouTube test new line. What this will do is it'll print on the second line, it'll print hey YouTube, and on the fourth line, it'll print test new line. Okay, I lied. On the third line, it'll print test new line. Alright, so we got hey YouTube and we got test new line. Alright, so now let's go back here. We also have the /tab feature, which would be just /t, and this just adds basically the tab key, about I think it's 8 spaces, and it adds it from where, so we could just say hey introduction. Alright, whatever. Spelled that wrong. Just keep it slang there. Hey YouTube. Alright, see, and that did an 8 space break from my hey. Alright, so there's some basic, that's just basic print statements. We're going to go into what a loop is. Now a loop, you can create an infinite loop, which would be a simple while true. And basically all this is it's gonna make your program run forever. The while stands for while you're doing this, you're doing an action, it'll keep going through until the while returns false. So if it's true, it's always going to return. So you just created an infinite loop, what we call. Alright, so if you run, see, it never says it terminates. I have to terminate it myself. Alright, so you can do, I'll show you a couple of functions that you can do for strings. There's strings. There is also, so that would be what you call for what type of variable you're calling. We're calling a string, and then we're going to call it the name. Alright, and then we can have ints. So I made an int that's named count, and it's set equal to 0. I have another string called name, and it's equal to YouTube. You could have floats. These are like a float, like I'm just gonna put D for variable, and you could have a float of 1.0. This is basically, it's like a hang on. Yeah, honestly, I don't remember much about the floats. Those are decimals, I remember that. And then there's also doubles, which are 2 decimals or more. There's a few other, but for the most part, you're going to be using ints, names. And then the other big one, this isn't really a variable, I wouldn't consider, but it is in Java, so we're going to call it as a Boolean. And basically, this is just it's set equal to true, or it's set equal to false, and you can change these based on what you want. Alright, so we have a variable here called YouTube, and we have another one called count. So there's certain operators, or methods I should say, that you can do to a string to manipulate it. So we're going to manipulate it by creating what we call a banner. So name dot length, and what this does is it returns the name and how long it is. Okay, so you could really put this in as, I'm just gonna make it easier for you guys to understand, and okay, so we're going to we have a variable called length, and it equals to how long our string is. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it would be, this length would be equal to 7. Okay, so now we're going to make what we call a for loop. And these are loops that for a variable keep doing this. So we're going to make a variable inside this loop called I. I just stands, I don't know what the others programmers use it, but I just use it as integer. So while I is less than length, I plus plus. Now the plus plus is basically the same in math terms as I equals I plus 1. But to keep it quick, we just like to do I plus plus. Alright, so now we'll go into printing just a statement, pretty, like, I don't know, with a special effect, I should say. Okay, so we're going to do a system.out.print, and we don't want to make this to continue with new lines each one, we're just going to make it print. the letter at each given time. So, alright, so now the next step would be to grab the name, and we're gonna manipulate the name by getting the char at. Now char at just returns a given character at a certain like index that you pick at. So we're gonna pick it at the variable I, because it's gonna loop through, and this gives us our loop count. So I. Alright. If we do this, all it's gonna do is it's just gonna print out the variable I. I mean, it's gonna print out just a string name. It isn't going to loop through and make it like a banner. You'll see what I mean in a second. See, so we just have YouTube terminated. Alright, but now let's make this more like a banner and make it look cool. So I'm going to add something called thread dot sleep. Alright, and then we're going to make this equal to, I don't know, let's say 120. Alright, so now we got an error. This red line would be an error. And what it needs is either a throw declaration, which I don't really like, especially in the main method, that messes things up, or surrounded by trial or catch. And a trial or catch, all it does is an error trap in case of an exception. An exception happens, which is basically an error in the program. So we're gonna just add that, and you can just click this. You don't really need this code. This is just to catch the error, and what this does, this code down here, you guys don't really need to know, but all it really does is if the error is found, it's going to print it out on the same command lines as we were before. So now let's try writing it. Now you should see a little difference in the program. See, it printed out a nice string called YouTube, but we can make this a little longer, like, hey, it's Mitch. I am making my first YouTube video. Alright, so there, we got our nice little string, and now if you click run, it should do the same thing. Hey, it's Mitch. I am making my first YouTube video. Yay. See, and then you can, this right here, threads.sleep, it controls of how long you're going to sleep the program until it reruns again. So this is sleeping it for 120 milliseconds, which is like a little bit over 1/10 of a second. Like, okay, so we're going to make this go a little faster. Let's put it at 100. So this is 1/10 of a second. Alright. Hey, it's Mitch. I'm making my first YouTube video. See, now I didn't even think that slow. I would move it down to, well, we can do a fast one. We can do a fast one. Let's put it down to 50. Should move pretty fast. Hey, it's Mitch. I am making my first YouTube video. Alright, so that was a nice introduction to how to manipulate strings, and an introduction into what type of variables and what their functions are. There's also included loops, but we'll go more into depth with that later on. Alright, thanks for my first video. Alright, see ya. Alright, bye.